I left her outside at 11:30 at night to walk home a mile from her house, and she was excited. I go to get her to keep her safe, and she's like, that's some bitch ass shit. Now, if you are a human being, so I'm empathetic, like, yo, I almost killed, I didn't mean to do that, I'm apologizing, and you like, why am I crying? Because you almost died. That's why I'm crying, because you almost died. And here you are looking at me like a bitch, because I'm crying because I almost killed you. Bamboo Project Podcast, where you can see how we turn our life into a living. So one of the purpose of this podcast is I always wanted to see how a famous person or a rich person or celebrity goes from being a regular person to where we see them at now. But I always wanted to see how they were before they got to that point. And that's one of the main purposes of this podcast, to see how a regular guy like me goes from being a bike messenger to a billionaire. So I want to shout out to all the cousins in the Bamboo Project family. I definitely appreciate everyone who comes and listens to it, all the new listeners. Thank you to you guys too. Hope you can become part of the, Bamboo Project family. My name is DonivanGray. If you don't have YouTube Premium, right? 'Cause a lot of people don't want to pay the extra $12.99 or whatever the case might be for it, and want to still listen to the audio while you're getting things done around the house. Listen, the link to the audio is in the description. So we are on multiple major streaming platforms such as Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We are also on some smaller platforms such as Anchor, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. If you're listening to this podcast, we have a YouTube channel called The Bamboo Project, where we have 100 plus videos of cooking tutorials, travel, lifestyle vlogs, tips on makeup and hair growth, and we post multiple times every week. So me personally, when I listen to a podcast, I want to see how the hosts sound. I want to see how the hosts look, not how they sound. So I'm like, damn, where can I see like their Instagrams and their Twitters and things like that? So if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can keep up with us on social media. My Instagram is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my beautiful girlfriend's Instagram is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. My Instagram and Twitter are the same thing. We have multiple different projects, right? Such as the Bamboo Project Food, we have the Music Project, the Clothing Project, the Fitness Project, the Sports Project, and as you can hear right now, the Bamboo Project Podcast. The handles for all of those projects will be in the description below in either YouTube or whatever you're listening to this podcast at. So I'm doing consultations, so you can DM me to schedule a consultation. And I know sometimes these podcasts can run to like 3 hours long, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I feel like if I was listening to a podcast, I want to have timestamps. So for you guys, I take the time out. At the end of the description, you can see the timestamps for everything we talk about in this podcast. So today's agenda, my main thing I want to do is I want to redo an ad. The ad that's currently there is like 5 minutes long, and I feel like that's very, very long. So I wanted to redo the ad, and I've been meaning to do this for a while. So today I'm going to do it on here. Then I'm going to cut this audio and put it in the beginning. So you might hear it twice. If you're listening to it a second time, you can just skip past the part of this of the ad. Or should I? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the video in, but if you're listening to it on audio, you won't hear the ad twice. You only hear it once, because there is no actual ad on YouTube for what I'm about to do. So here we go. Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. What you're about to hear right now is an ad for Anchor. Nope, try it again. Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. This is an ad for Anchor. You probably never heard of it or don't care, right? Well, I'm going to explain to you what it is and the problem that it solves for you. Other companies want you to save. Damn. Okay. This is an ad for Anchor. You probably never heard of it or don't care. I'm going to explain what it is and what problems it solves for you. So, other companies want you to have 1,000 listeners before you get paid. And they charge you every month. That's nasty. That sounds, I don't like the way that looks there. All right. So, here we go. Just scroll that down there. So this is an ad for Anchor. You probably never heard of it or don't care. I'm going to explain what it is and what problems it solves for you. Other companies want you to have 1,000 listeners before you get paid, and they charge you every single month. $35, $45, $50. You start getting paid with your first listen, and it's free to use. So as soon as you start making your podcast, you get paid immediately. They have an app as opposed to other companies who only have a website. So you don't have to use old, outdated platforms such as websites and things like that, right? You can record, edit, and check your analytics all from the Anchor app. But Donovan, I don't want...
You have to fix where it says other companies want you to have 1,000 listeners.
Yeah.
You didn't say Anchor. You didn't say with Anchor you start getting paid your first listen. That third bullet point.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing it sounded weird.
Okay. All right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't know I didn't say it. So.
Yeah, I think you read it exactly how it was written.
Yeah, because I took out not Anchor because it sounded corny, but it said not Anchor the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put it.
I mean, it doesn't have to say not Anchor, but like you can say with Anchor.
I thought I did, but I'll just do it. So this is an ad for Anchor. You probably never heard of it or do not care. Well, I'm gonna explain what it is and what problems it solves for you. Other companies want you to have 1,000 listeners before you get paid, and they charge you every single month. But with Anchor, you start getting paid with your first listen, and on top of that, it's free to use. They have an app, so you don't have to use outdated websites. You can record, edit, and check your analytics all from the app. But Donovan, you're like, damn, I don't want to start a podcast. Why do I need this? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because you have a desire to help other people, right? Or maybe you're not that kind of that nice person, right? So maybe you love being the one solving problems. Maybe you want to be the alpha in your group. So everyone has that friend that talks too much, or the friend who's always complaining about a 9 to 5, or I know you guys have this friend, the one that's always doing something crazy, always has crazy stories, crazy logic, just crazy mind, right? Give them a platform to say all those things. Put them on a podcast. Help them make money. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now that I've secured the bag, let's start the podcast. So, okay, on today's agenda, as people may not know, we have multiple segments on this podcast. One of the segments is a life update, where I give you an update as to how my life is going. For me, going from being a bike messenger to a billionaire every week, I check in and let you guys know what's going on. We have another segment called episode playback, which is where I kind of go back and rehash things I might have heard when I listened to the old episode. So that's on here as episode playback. The third segment is called Donivan's Questions, where I just present you a question just to make your brain kind of think a little bit. I don't try to lead you on with any type of context, just a question, and then you just have an answer for it, whether you want to leave it in a DM, whether you want to comment the answer that you have, or just sit back and listen and think about that. And we have the main segment at the end, which will be the topics. So on today's topics, it is about the benefit of having a toxic relationship, girls putting up fake boundaries, and why it's easy to get pussy and make girls fall in love with you. And until it's normalized to not play hard to get, women will continue to be in toxic relationships. So today is really centered around toxic relationships and kind of my perspective on it, my take on it, and why I think they happen. And also, mostly why I think they happen. And a couple other things I want to touch on too is a conversation I had with a friend, women who treat their son like a man, paying for courses, and the upside to toxic relationships. So can you scroll down to the life update? Okay, so people who do not know or who are new to this podcast, my plan right now is to buy some real estate so that I can use that money to not have to go to work. Pretty much, that's the main point of it. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and listen to some old episodes to kind of get the context of what I'm talking about. But since my job that I work at was bought by another company, I'm not making as much money as I used to make. So I've been trying to figure how can I get some more money to put a down payment on this property. I need $16,000 to do so, and I had planned originally. I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna work as a bike messenger, and I'm gonna just go and work all the time. 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day times 6 is what? How much was 8 times 6?
8 times 6 should be like
Yeah, I feel like it's 48. It was 8 times 2 is 16. So it would
Yeah,
be
40.
48 hours. I feel like I would be working more than that. If I worked 8 hours a day for 6 days, it'd be 48 hours. Yeah, because 5 would be 40. Yeah, so I'm just okay. So yeah, I'll be working 48 hours a week or more. Between 48 and 60 hours a week is what I'll be working if I wanted to go and save the way I needed to save for this real estate. And I would have had the money. I had a savings plan for me to have the money by February, the second week of February, third week of February. I'll put a screenshot of the plan I had on the screen so you can see what my plan was originally. But as I went out, I realized that this is not sustainable to work and also kind of do the wholesaling thing and also try to run the project. It just doesn't make any sense to just try and work to like just work till I die, put more or less. Like it's like I wait. The plan was at 4, wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning to be out the house by 8, work 4 hours from 8 to 12, and then come back home and then take a break or a nap and go back out again and work another 4 hours till I come back home. And then I will come back home. I would be sleepy. I would eat. I go to bed and do it again. And the plan was to do that for 5 months or something like that, right? I feel like this is kind of loud. The plan was to do that for like 5 months or so, right? 5, 6 months. So one day a couple days ago, I'm sitting in my bed and I get an email about a class action lawsuit. Now, people who are unfamiliar with this is usually when a person or a lawyer or a law firm will sue a company on behalf of multiple people, right? And they kind of charge the company based on how many people are part of the lawsuit. So I opted into this lawsuit a while ago for the company I work for, which is back then it was Caviar. And like I said earlier, they no longer exist. So I've gotten like 3 settlements from stuff like this. Normally I'll get like $100, I'll get $80, $150. I actually have one with Grubhub. The reason they have this lawsuit is because a lot of these gig economy type companies are saying that people are not employees, but they're treating them like employees. You might have heard that with Uber and Lyft and things like that. So the delivery people are going through the same thing. And the problem with that is more so, I guess people think we should have benefits or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care that much. But I did opt in for the lawsuit because I might get some money. So I'm like, sure, why not? So I did that. And like I said, I'm thinking, whatever. Press, you click here, sign there, you get $100. I'm like, whatever. This might have been 2 years ago. I probably signed up for this. So you could guess my surprise when this week I saw that I'm supposed to get $10,000, or is it $10,500?
10,300 something.
Yeah, about $10,400. I'm supposed to get from this lawsuit, right? And my thing is like I wasn't involved. I wasn't really doing anything, thinking about. I was not. My brain had no thought process that this was going to happen. And as you guys may have known, I applied for a loan before. I got denied like 4 times from a different loan. Melissa got denied. Everybody, we just was not getting what I was going to get. And we kept getting close to the step of getting the money, but we just wasn't getting it. So I just think it's a real interesting coincidence that I'm going to get this $10,000, according to the person that I spoke to, at the early part of next year, which would be around the same time that I had planned for us to have the money saved up. And like I said, I kind of stopped. Oh yeah, I didn't know if I mentioned this. That I stopped doing the bike messaging thing full time. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing it part time. I'm gonna wake up 6 days a week. I'm gonna go and work from 8 to probably 12 or something like that. Maybe 8 to 1 or something in that range. No, something around that. 8 to 12 or 8 to 1, just somewhere in that range in the morning, and that's it. And the rest of the day, I'll spend that time actually going out and trying to work on the wholesaling, going out and trying to figure out how to get mostly wholesaling. It's mostly going to be majority wholesaling. How can I figure out how to get money from assigning contracts? If you don't know what wholesaling is, you can go look it up. It's, huh? Yeah, and we're gonna on the Bamboo Project YouTube channel, we're gonna see us going in and I guess the process of us wholesaling. So what we're going through, what we're thinking, what steps we're at this point in time. It's very similar to this girl I just found recently. Her name is Lily Thompson on YouTube, and she has started within 6 weeks. I think she made maybe $20,000, something like that. Maybe was it something? She might have made. I think she did 2 deals. Either way, she made several $1,000s in a couple of weeks. And like I said, right now, if I get that money from this court case in the beginning of the year of 2021, I'll only need $6,000. I'll still be going to work from now until then, so I'll still have a source of income. Plus, if we do the wholesaling thing, we would only need $6,000 from wholesaling between now and then to put a down payment on some real estate. So right now, that's the plan that we have. So I guess I just think it's crazy that I got the $10,000 because people who have been listening to this podcast, which is one of the reasons why I do the podcast the way I do, because now you have to hear it's a story. It's this whole podcast. It's my life story. So it's just very crazy how out of nowhere when I literally told myself, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing this job like full time, and I was still. I think it's crazy. This is how it happened. I'm gonna give exactly how it happened. I was hell bent on working 8 hours a day to make $200 every single day while I'm going to work, to make $1,200 a week or more to save money up. That was what I was hell bent on doing, right? And then I'm outside. I'm like, all right, here we go. I just got my bike fixed again. It was kind of fucked up, so I'm ready to go back to work. And I go back outside on the first day. I forgot why I didn't work for a couple. Was it raining? I feel like I had went. Huh? No, before that. I was working.
I think it was raining. I think it rained for like 3 days, something like that.
Yeah, something had happened that had me inside the house for like a day or two. So I went back outside. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go get this bag. And then, lo and behold, I'm riding on my second order in the morning. I get a flat tire, right? And I'm like, I'm like, how many signs do I need before I obviously realize I need to stop doing this? I'm like, okay, I keep getting all these signs, right? I'm outside working as hard as I can, right? What I believe is working. I was working very hard. No, I think I was working as hard as I can. My goal, I was out there early in the morning I was doing what I said I'm going to do. I woke up, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm outside working. I come back home, I go back outside, I'm working again. So that was my plan. I was doing it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I take my second order and I get a flat tire. And I'm just like, bruh. And then to make matters even worse, because of the bike that I have, nobody has the tires that I need. And it wasn't even, because a lot of people, well, I said before, it's 2 types of things when you come to changing a flat tire. You change the tube inside the tire, right? So as far as the tires go, right? My thing was, this level, again, we're going to see what happens at the end. So my thing with the tire is that I always just change the tube, right? And the thing with my bike is because I'm going so fast and I'm riding outside in the street, the tires get worn out. So I had a time before, I don't think I was doing a podcast yet, where I would keep getting flats. Like I was talking about a flat like every 2 days. I was getting a flat. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's because I needed a new tire. So because I've had that experience already, I said, okay, boom. What I need to do is I need to go and buy a new tire and a new tube, because that's gonna work. It's gonna make me get back out here getting money. I'm gonna be good, right? That's what I'm telling myself. So I call up people. I'm like, hey guys, do you have a bike tire for me? They're like, we don't carry that size. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, hey bike store, do you have one I could use? They're like, nah, we don't carry that. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, hey bike store, what about you guys? They're like, nah, we don't carry that. So I'm calling all the bike stores in my area, and none of them have a tube or a tire I can put on my bike. So another bike store around here, right? Okay. So we're trying to get the audio right, because last week, I'll come back to that episode playback. This looks good. This looks really good. I like this. Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. What's changed? This is perfect. This is perfect. Okay. So, So I'm trying to fucking find a bike place to go and get my bike fixed. So I find one that might have it where I normally go to, and they're telling me that they don't even take phone calls now because of the whole coronavirus thing. So I have to email them for them to respond back to me, for me to actually get a response from them. I have to it's ridiculous. So I email them to find out later that day they don't even carry the bike tire, and they tell me that their distributor doesn't even have it because of the whole corona shit. So I'm just like, okay, I can't get it. So I go online, look for it. I can't even find them online. Like the tires and tubes that I need, I can't really find them from Amazon to get them delivered soon, so I can go back to work as soon as possible, right? So I'm like, fuck. So I'm looking for like 2 days. I finally find the tires that I need, right? So I buy the tubes, I buy the tires. I buy 2 tubes just in case some bullshit happens, and then I bought the tire. So both the tubes come in, everything is going good, and then I'm like, all right, bet it should be about 3 days before I get my tire in here, and I can go back to work. So Wednesday comes, tire's not delivered. I'm like, all right. Thursday comes, tire's not delivered. I'm like, all right, this is getting kind of crazy. I'm like, I don't, and mind you, it's supposed to be a 1 day shipping, and they telling me they tried delivering it, and I have a doorman, so there's no trying to deliver it. You leave it. There's a doorman there all the time. Give it to him or put it in the package room. We have a place to put the packages. There's no, oh, we left it of it. None of that. Put it where it's supposed to be at. So I end up calling the people or I call Amazon like, hey, I never got my package. Can I get a refund on that? And they were like, what did they know? First they tried to reorder the tire for me. Then they said that it's gonna come at the end of October, which is like October 25th or something. I'm like, fam, I can't have the thing come October 25th. And I didn't know that at first. I'm like, yeah, just resend me one. You can cancel the other one. I don't know where it is. Whatever happens to it, it's whatever. So when I see on my orders that it says October 25th, I'm like, nah, I gotta get a refund, because ain't no way that you expect me to be out of commission for a whole nother month. I wouldn't be able to work because of a flat tire. So I just said, look, cancel that, give me a refund. So they gave me the refund, and lo and behold, the next day my tire pulled up to the house, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I decided I'm gonna go and change my tire, my tube. Everything's going good. And in that time period is when I found out that I was getting $10,000 from Caviar. This shit is ridiculous. So like I said, I be thinking that there's some energies working outside of me that I don't have no control over when things like this start happening. Cause I'm like, what are the odds? Like, I've never even heard of anybody getting a $10,000 settlement from any of these companies for a class action lawsuit about misclassification of employees. I've never seen that. So I'm like, $10,000. That's a lot of money for that. I didn't do anything for it. They just opt in and that's it. So I just have to see whenever it comes in. I don't know when, but they said in the beginning of next year. Maybe I would say within the first 4 months of next year. So like I said, that's how that last week started off, right? I also started feeling kind of stagnant while my tires weren't coming in. And I talked about this before in the podcast about analysis paralysis. I think there are different types of things that people go through that make them kind of not want to work or not want to move. Some people call it, Jesus. Let me drink some water. Speaking kind of fast. Some people may call it depression. Other people may call it analysis paralysis. Other people may call it laziness. There's multiple different things I think that people go through that make them actually not want to work. For me last week, it was kind of a little bit of the analysis paralysis thing, like a little bit of it, but it was more so of just like, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what can I do? I don't have nothing to do. Where do I point this energy at? I don't know what to do with it. I need to do something. So I ended up buying this course on Twitter from this guy. His name is Ray Garrett. I'll put his Twitter in the description so you can see it, and I'll put it on the screen if you're watching this. Because I used to follow him, or I followed him for like years, for probably like 10 years. 25? No, not 10. Probably like 7, 8 years I've been following him on Twitter. When he had like a couple hundred followers, and all he would do was kind of just tweet about what he's doing. He would tweet, what books to read. He would tweet about how to get girls. He would tweet about being confident. He would tweet about different business ventures that he's on. He writes books and things like that. So he was tweeting about all these things. So I thought, you know what? It's a cool person I never met. I just want to kind of follow his Twitter and see what he posts on a regular basis. So from then to now, he got 33,000 followers on Twitter from literally just posting a couple times a day quotes from books that he's reading and things like that. So I'm like, you know what? He had posted one of the days that he has I guess we would call it a course on how to become successful in the next 26 weeks, something like that, right? So he would charge $100 for it, $100 for it. So I'm like, all right, that's not that much. It's $100. I can pay that. Just to see, just because like I said before, I need to do something. My solution for having analysis paralysis is to make a decision and do something, because whether you do A or B, there's going to be a negative outcome from either or. And if you spend all your time trying to weigh which negative outcome is the worst, you won't make a decision and you will be in the same spot 10 days from now, 20 days from now, a year, 2 years, 5 years. You're going to be staying in the same spot because you never made a decision. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just buy this course, similar to the table. I'm going to buy it, and whatever comes from it, comes from it. So I bought the course. It was $100. I had to cash app him. And it wasn't nothing. I haven't got all the way through it, but it doesn't seem anything that I or he didn't know, or anything that's like really revelation. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess philosophical or revolutionary. It's nothing crazy like that. It's just regular stuff. I'm gonna give you an idea of something that he had put out before. I didn't pay for this one. I had found it online, but he was saying for guys who are not confident to walk with your chest up and swing your arms back and forth, like when you're walking. Now, I've never thought about that when I walk. I never said, okay, I need to swing my arms and sway as I walk so people think that I'm confident. I don't think about that. But there are people who probably don't think about that, and it may help them to become more confident. So he's giving out things like that for people to buy. So like I said, it may help some people. I don't know if it helps a lot of people, majority, but it helps enough people that he keeps putting it out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy this course and see what comes up from it. So my first day that I bought the course, I was looking at it, just looking over to see what's in it. The first 3 pages are like a couple of interviews he did with people. It's like maybe 5-6 paragraphs of different people who started their own business, and how it's going for them. So it's cool to read it, to see other people, what they're doing, how they start their business. It was a little fun thing. But then he has like a challenge you have to do. So every week you have to do certain things on this challenge. So I was skimming through that. And one thing that stuck out to me was be active every week. And it's something that kind of stuck out to me because I haven't really been active for a long time because I've been trying to put all my energy into riding a bike. So I make sure I try to ride my bike all the time. And I stopped working in Manhattan because I wanted to save money by not having to go to the city. And if I'm working in Queens, I come back home, eat, go back out. And when I do that, though, I don't get to play basketball. So I don't have that exercise. The gyms are closed, or they were closed. So I wasn't doing that. Because we didn't pay the rent, we don't have access to the amenities that we had before. And if I go to Blink, then I seen they have lines outside to get in the Blink. So I'm like, I'm not about to wait on a line to go into a gym to have to wear a mask to work out. I don't want to do that. But I do think it's important to exercise. But I just feel like because of the whole coronavirus thing, they're making, which is so strange, they're making working out one of the hardest things to do, because even though it's supposed to help you, it's supposed to make you help your immune system and things like that. But they'd rather you eat crazy ass food outside on the sidewalk, but they don't want you in a gym working out and playing basketball and things like that. So I think that that's silly personally. So what was I saying? Oh, right. So I saw that on the course it said exercise. So I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to schedule in my week now to go out and play basketball. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to go and do something to get myself moving, because I feel like I could definitely feel my body sort of deteriorating in a sense where it's like I don't have the same muscle mass that I used to. I don't feel I'm healthy because of the food that I eat, but as far as on a muscular level, I don't feel like I am the way I used to be. So I need to go out and just be active more. And one thing also that I got from that is, like I said earlier, to always do something. So that day and the next day, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to like just make the bed when I get up. I'm going to like maybe clean something or wash something. I'm going to do something to get my body moving. And I realized from doing that it helps me to do other things. So once it's like a snowball effect, once I start doing the little small things, like, okay, maybe I'll pick that up, I'll wash 2 plates, or I'll wash a spoon. I realized like, oh, okay, like I'm actually able to do the larger things I need to do, like maybe make video clips for the podcast, or go and research something, or go and do something that's actually really beneficial. But it all started from me doing the smaller things. So right now, that's what I'm using the course for. And like one thing I've realized too from talking to a couple of people is that people are really like, I guess, turned off by courses because they feel like it's a waste of money, right? Now, for me specifically, I think that when it comes to having a course or whatever the case might be, a course may have I don't know, 1,000 documents or 30 different pages or 40 pages of things, right? If you paid $100 for that course and you learn one thing, then it was beneficial. Like you're not going to go from, a hero or zero to a hero in overnight. And I remember one time I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about reading books, right? And I think that people are always looking for that book that's going to make them rich and make them successful and make them happy and fix all their problems. And I think it's so funny because there's no book that exists like that. And it was so like, it was so dumbfounding to me before that. And then when I said it out loud, it made so much sense because I was dumbfounded by it. But it made so much sense when I said that because it helps you to understand that your character is built by a surplus of things or multiple things. It's not built by one book or two books or three books. It's built by the fact that you've read all of these books, that you've lived all of this life, that you've made these decisions. There's not going to be one thing that makes you go from here, a regular person, to being whatever dream you have of doing. So when I buy a course, I don't ever think like, okay, this is going to be the thing that turns my whole life around. I don't think of it like that. I think of I can learn something from this. Like I may learn one thing, and you think about like an alphabet, you need 26 letters to complete the alphabet. You can have 14 letters, but you're not going to get you're not going to have all letters from A to Z if you only have 14 letters. But if you keep going out and trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to try and learn real estate. Okay, now I learned this part of real estate. Now I have to learn communications, and I have to buy some books on communicating. Then you're like, oh shit, I got to buy a book about selling. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm selling. Okay, boom. Now you got to learn about how to save the money that you made from real estate. And it's all of these things together that make you a successful person. If you go out and buy a book on real estate and you learn about real estate, that's cool. But if you don't know how to sell, or you don't know how to communicate, then you buying real estate is going to be a lot harder. People really think that if you buy a book or buy a course that you have to learn everything about that subject. And the reason I'm saying is I talked to people this week about real estate, and I feel like they're hesitant, or they're not really for buying courses. And I just think that people who buy a course shouldn't be discouraged by not becoming rich from the course. If you learn anything from the course, then it was positive, whether you paid $4,000 for it, $200 for it, $700 for it, you learned something. Now you can try and figure, okay, how do I maximize my money the most? Sure. But you're going to learn something from the course. So like I said, that was just my thing about course. I really wanted to get that out there because I feel like a lot of people really kind of judge whether it be what are those called, self-help courses or money financial guru courses. It's like, yeah, none of them are going to make you rich. They're going to tell you something. You're gonna figure out something, and you're gonna learn more than a person who's doing nothing at all. So as far as courses go, I think you should definitely look into them just to see what you get out of it. So I'm going to look at the rest of his course. I'm curious what else is on there, because like I said, I don't think that it's going to change my life. But like I said, that one little thing of me reading exercise every week, it helped. It was one step to go, okay, you know what, Donivan, you need to make sure that you're doing something. Make sure you're active. And I realized, okay, now that I've had that in my head, it's like a little extra push to go, yeah, you already know, get up and go do something. That's how you make you feel better. Get up, do something. And one thing I feel like also made me feel kind of stagnant in the last week or so is the fact that we've been eating really bad food. And I realized when we eat bad food, it's kind of like an indicator of like what direction we're going in. So the same thing with other people I would tell people all the time when it comes to food. We have the Bamboo Project food page. People think you have to transition immediately all the way 100% on the first day. You don't have to go from eating meat to not eating meat in one day. So what we're doing right now, because we already fell off and started eating bad food, we eating Papa John's, we had wings and ice cream and all types. We just had a bunch of this bad food, right? And I think that it's just about one step at a time. So right now we're going from you were eating bad food twice a day, 2-3 times a day, to now we're only going to try and eat it once a day, so that now we can transition back into eating healthier food regularly. So that, because like I said, one thing also about eating bad food is it takes away your energy. So you don't have energy to go out and do the things that you want to do, whether it be going to hang out with your girlfriend, whether it be going to hang out with your family, whether it be just have energy to go to the gym, or energy that you need to just do whatever goals you have. It's really geared and tied to the food that you eat. So I'm like, okay, we need to make sure that we're eating food a lot better. And yeah, so and then Melissa has her period now. So even with the food thing, their food really, it definitely ties into how girls are when they're on their period. So things can be really bad if you're eating bad food, or it can be a lot better if you're eating good food. She was going through a whole lot of stuff during her first day of her period, since we've been eating a lot of bad food. But that is the life update for episode 29. Next segment is episode playback. So as far as episode 28 goes, my thing is which is what you kind of hear now on the podcast, is me trying to get the audio right, because I feel like last week was a good episode, but the audio was so fucked up, and I was trying to mess with it afterwards, post production, trying to get it to sound decent or audible, but I still don't like the way it sounds. So I'm trying to get it right now so I can learn, okay, what is making the audio sound that bad. So I think we kind of figured it out today. So I'm hoping when I listen to this later that it sounds the way I think it's supposed to sound. Yeah. In the intro, I was trying to do like a different intro last time too. I was like, more like a pizzazz. Nah, that shit, I ain't like that when I heard it. I was like, watch me turn to a billionaire. And it's like, no, that's not really me. Nah. That's all I can say is just nah on that. And I had said in the podcast last week is that I don't mind asking people for help. And I think I said I don't want to ask people for help, but it was more so about I don't want to rely on people. Like, I don't like it. I just feel, because like I said last week, I might have said this too. I think I touched on this. It's like, for me, if I have to rely on somebody and they don't do the thing that I rely on them for, it's like, it's a slap in the face to me. It's like, oh shit, okay. Well, if I can't rely on you for the thing that I'm supposed to rely on you for, what are you doing? Like, what's the point of you being here if you're unreliable? So I'm like, okay, I have no problem asking for help. I'll ask for help all the time. If I need help with something, I'll ask. Because in my brain, asking for help is not relying on somebody, just asking for information. But to give somebody the control and the power to go, okay, this is your thing, I'm gonna step over here and you do that thing. If I come back to the thing that you were supposed to be doing and it's not done, I'm like, what you doing? Like, what's going on here? So like I said, that's something I want to touch on too from last week. And one of the reasons, because there are multiple reasons for this podcast. There's probably like 20 reasons I started this podcast. One of them is to help me recognize patterns in my own life, because the more I talk about it, the more I'll see it when I'm editing it, the more I'll remember it from old podcasts. And as far as patterns go, like, let's say next year around this time, I'm like, yo, do you notice that some bad shit happens to me around August every year? Like, and I have proof on camera, like, yeah, you see this? Last August in 2020, this weird shit was happening and this weird shit was happening. And then by December, I got some magical money, and then some great shit happened to me in February. And then by April, some bad shit. I want to be able to have these things cataloged so I can be able to go, okay, what am I doing that is causing these problems to keep happening? Because one thing I think people go through is that they are too close to a situation to see the problem. So they realize, like, okay, I know something. I keep getting into the same situations, but I don't know why or how. But if you could record yourself making decisions, then you can be able to go, oh, I see that every time I go to save money, I decide, no, I'm going to actually buy I want to buy a camera instead. And you start seeing that over and over again. You're like, wait a minute, I realize now whenever I get money, I do this bad decision with it. So I'm going to stop doing that. But if you don't have yourself recorded, or you don't write it down or things like that, you won't actually know what the pattern that you're doing that's caused you to have the same responses and the same outcomes over and over again. So for me, the podcast definitely helps in that way. Another purpose of the podcast too is for me to kind of help to get through speaking better, because I definitely want to be more articulate. I want to be able to convey and communicate better. And I want to start speaking slower, but I don't know if it's if it helps with me if I'm selling. I don't know if it's why I speak so fast. I've been doing it since I was born, honestly. I've said before different reasons why I think I speak fast, but it's a weird thing to try and break as far as speaking fast, because when you're doing it, like, I don't think I'm speaking fast, so it gets weird. I'm like, damn, should I speak this slow? And if I'm speaking this slow, is this normal? So that's what be fucking me up too. But like I said, that's one of the main things I have for this podcast. One of the main reasons to recognize the patterns over and over again I can see, and I can break them so I can actually, progress in my life. And Donovan's questions, we did not have one of these last week, but this week we have one of Donovan's questions. So here we go. Ready? Take a seat. Take a deep breath. Listen to this. What is something that makes a lot of money but people don't gravitate towards? Okay, now I'm gonna say it again. Okay, now this could be an industry, it could be anything that people put money towards. Okay, what is something that makes a lot of money but people do not gravitate towards? Okay, you guys figure that out. Like I said, if you want, leave a DM or leave a comment. People could talk about it in the comments. So now today's topics. So I actually was talking to a friend over the weekend, a couple days ago, and we had this conversation about, I guess, women, and the way he was talking about his woman actually made me appreciate Melissa more, because the way he was just talking about, I was just like, wow, you ever hear somebody talk about something that makes you feel good about something? Like, it was that, and mind you, it was just over text. So I'm gonna read to you what he was saying to me. And like I said, it was just crazy, because we were talking about he bought a house where he lives at, and he was saying how he got it and things like that. Because I saw he had a gym in his basement. I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to get me a gym in my basement so that I could work out in my house, so I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So let me see. He was saying, read the messages to you guys. See, like I said, this shit was so, I feel like it was so much passion in what he said. I was just like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Okay, so I'm going to read some of the messages. I had said to him, I'm getting into real estate and trying to see other places outside of New York City because the laws and price points here make it hard to wholesale. I wouldn't mind looking where you live, especially if they have houses like that. I was like, yeah, this pandemic is pushing me more away from the city life, though. I do enjoy the views and amenities, but what's an amenity if you pay for it and they can decide to just take it away from you? He said, everyone asked me why I decided to stay here. He said, right now, it's the state with the lowest COVID rates and less than 60 deaths. He said, I saw the potential to achieve everything I wanted in life here. I have accomplished so much over the past years. This year, I turned 30. All my goals I set out to accomplish at 30. I got them all at 29. He said, we have to take our future into our hands with hard work and planning. I was saving up with my fiance for this house for a while now. The kicker is, without her achieving all these goals would be impossible. Let me read that again. He said, the kicker is, without her achieving all these goals would be impossible. She is the most important investment of all. And I said, how has having her in your life helped achieve that? He said, unlimited encouragement through failures, disappointment, great partnership on everything. She never thinks that my ideas are crazy, even when they are outrageous to me at times. She asks me every day how my day is, even when she knows my same response. Every day she asks what I want to eat before I get home is done. He said, truthful transparency and reciprocal devotion in everything. 50-50 partner on every decision. I'm going to read that last word again. He said, it's truthful transparency and reciprocal devotion in everything. It's a 50-50 partnership on every decision. He said, LOL, through my fitness journey, she prepared all my meals. She did the nutrition part of my journey, which is the most difficult part. I said, that's dope. I said, I think the ability for women to nurture the intrinsic part of us is their superpower, and it's greatly overlooked even by me. It's hard for me to feel it for whatever stubborn reason, but logically I understand it. And it's very refreshing to hear someone talk about their fiance the way you do, because I really, if ever, hear that. And then he said, I've always thought that my success was just down to my hard work and ambition, until it hit after a decade with her that it was not me alone. She achieved the same goals as me and then some, even makes more than me, and taught me how to drive. Trust me with her car. Even when we had one car, she drove me up at 5:30 a.m. for the past 4 years. She never complained until we bought a second car. So I'm just like, listen to, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because a lot of time I'm talking to guys. Look, a lot of times I'll be talking to guys, and it's usually the same type of stories. Like, damn, my girl, she ain't shit. I'm about to cheat on her. Fuck her. She's, she ain't shit. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, guys enjoy being around their girl, but you rarely hear about them speak about them so passionately. So I hear that, I was like, wow. Like I said to him, it's very refreshing to hear that, because most guys are like, damn, my girl's annoying me. She ain't shit. Now I'm pretty sure he kind of mentioned it a little bit. There are some things that probably annoyed him about her, but just to hear him talk about it like that, I rarely ever hear that. So I definitely wanted to just kind of put that energy out into the world for anybody listening to hear, like, yeah, like, people, like, you can talk about your girl in a very passionate and positive way. It's still cool to do. So I wanted to definitely touch on that. When we treat someone like a man. I'll probably say that for last. Oh, it's my beard. Now, one thing that I really want to get to today is toxic relationships, right? And I really want to touch on this because it's so important to understand when you yourself is being toxic and when somebody else is being toxic. So a lot of the age-old stories about how guys who are bad guys or bad boys attract girls, right? And we always, like, we hear it, but then we get into that situation and we don't understand why it happened. We're like, damn, why she like him? I don't understand. He ain't shit, blah, 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 right? And I think it's innate for girls. I think girls like excitement. I think at their core, they like to be excited, right? Now, for me, this is how I interpret excitement. Excitement cannot happen without danger. Danger and excitement go hand in hand. So anytime that, now the level of danger could be very small, but there's still danger. I don't really know of girls who maybe in their brain they would get excited by it, but I think on a logical level, I think girls who think about a guy saving money does not turn them on. If a girl thinks about a guy who's like, yeah, I go home and I save $5 on my check every week, so at the end of the year I'm gonna have whatever that math is, 5 times 52. I'm gonna have that money saved up. I don't think any girl is like, oh my God, that is so sexy. Oh my God, I want to fuck you. I don't think that happens. I don't think they get that rush in their stomach about that. But I do think that if a guy was to pull up at your house randomly and out of the clear blue say, hey, I'm outside, let's go get something to eat, just random stuff like that, it'd be exciting for you, right? And the reason like that can be dangerous is because you don't know what's going to happen. You didn't expect that. So there's a danger in not knowing what's coming. And like I said earlier, it's not always about, oh, I might die, danger. Just about the idea of not knowing what could possibly happen. It's a form of excitement, which is why you go on a roller coaster, you go to the top, you feel that adrenaline rushing because you know you're going to fall, you're about to fall. So that's still dangerous, even though you know you're inside of a, harness and everything else like that. You still get that feeling of, oh my God, I'm in danger, but it's exciting to feel that, right? And I think that a lot of quote unquote good guys don't understand how you have to have that in a relationship, right? So I'm talking to a girl recently, and she was saying to me how she has a guy friend that would just come to her house and pick her up and just, randomly do stuff like that. But his whole lifestyle does not suit being in a relationship. So he's very sporadic. He's over here, he's over there. He's driving from this state to that state. He don't have an actual stable job. He ups and leaves jobs whenever he feels like it. He just does whatever he wants to do. He's not tied down anywhere, right? And to most girls hearing that, it's exciting. It's like, oh my God, we get to just do stuff randomly. Oh my God, you're going to pick me from my job. We're going to just go travel somewhere. Oh, that sounds so much fun, right? But the problem with that is that doesn't work if you try to be in a actual relationship, because the thing that you like him for being sporadic will be very damning in a relationship, because you're at home like, damn, where is he? He's not here. He's out doing whatever he does. That's what you fell in love with him for. He's just a sporadic person. You come home one day, you want to put your feet up, you wonder where he's at. Well, he just had to drive to Georgia because he wanted to get a coffee. And you're like, what? Why he did that? He's like, well, they have good coffee, so I drove to Georgia to get coffee. And you like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? That's retarded. That's ridiculous. But that same energy or that same logic or pattern that made him do that is the same things that made you feel all wet and horny when you were with him. Those are the same type of things. And when it comes to, I guess, a guy, because okay, for me, because I understand this. I'm like, okay, I have to make sure that is in the relationship. So for people who are listening, if you are not the crazy guy who's going to go and do, pull up to her job with, I don't know, what's something that might be exciting for a guy to do? Just pull up to her job randomly and say we're going out to eat. Maybe not that guy. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you have things to do, whatever the case might be. You have to figure out a way to still be exciting to her, because girls at their core, they love that type of excitement. They love that type of quote unquote danger. And like I said, I just think it's weird because I think that everybody or most guys know that girls like this, but they don't proactively go out and decide, okay, how can I, it's funny enough, scare my girl, right? And scare her in a way that it could possibly be dangerous, but she won't actually get hurt. An example of that was one time I was talking to a girl a long time ago, and I was in my dad's car, and I was dropping her off at her house. And I think I said something like, she'll give me a kiss, something like that. And she was like, no, she don't want to give me a kiss. She don't want to get out the car. I'm like, listen, that's fine, right? But maybe she's asking where we are. I don't know what the question was. It was something. I feel like it was a kiss. But either way, I'm like, look, I'm going home. You can get out the car here in front of your house, or you can walk from the end of the block. She's like, I'm not getting out the car. I'm like, all right. So I drove to the end of the block. I'm like, listen, we're at the end of the block. I'm going to make this turn, and I'm going to go down the block again to my house, towards my house. You can get out here and walk back, or you're going to have to walk from 3 blocks away. She's like, I'm not getting out the car. I'm like, all right. So I drove 3 blocks away. I'm like, listen, you're 3 blocks from your house. You can get out 3 blocks away and walk back to your house, or I'm going to keep driving to my house and you're going to be 6 blocks away. So what you want to do? She's like, I'm not getting out the car. I'm like, all right, you sure? All right, fine. So we probably drive like half a mile towards my house. And I'm like, listen, I'm not taking you back home. I don't know why you think I'm not joking. I'm not driving you back to your house. So you can get out here and walk back, or you can go all the way back to my house and walk from my house, which is probably over a mile from my house to your house. What do you want to do? She's like, I don't want to get out the car. I'm like, all right, fine. So we get closer to my house, and I'm like, listen, you think I'm joking, and I'm not joking. Like, I'm not driving you back to your house. She's like, oh my God, you serious? I'm like, I'm not. I drove to your house first. I said, here you are. You can get out. You didn't want to get out. You thought I was playing with you. I wasn't playing. So here we are. So she's like, oh, I can't believe you do this. Fine, whatever, fine, right? So she get out the car, and I'm like, all right, later. I drive to my dad's house, put the car in the driveway, go inside my house, go inside his house, go in my room, get ready for bed, right? My dad's like, so, how did night go? I'm like, it's cool. I dropped her off, or I tried dropping her off. She didn't want to listen, so she had to walk back from where I dropped her off. He was like, Niles, you ain't take her back home? I'm like, I took her home. She didn't want to get out the car, so I said, listen, if you stay in this car, you'll come back to my house, and you have to walk from my house. He's like, no, you can't do that. That's fucking. Why would you do that? She's a girl. She's a woman. Why? Oh my God, why would you do that? And I'm like, she tried to test me. She thought I was gonna drive her back to her house. I told her I'm not driving her back to her house, but she didn't want to listen. I'm like, all right, fine. So my dad's like, no, Mouse, I wish you better than that. You can't do that. I'm like, all right. Now I'm starting to feel bad. I'm like, but did I do the wrong thing? I'm like, maybe I should go get her back. I'm like, it is, mind you, it's nighttime. It's probably like 11:30 at night, maybe somewhere. It's definitely dark outside, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll go back and pick her up, and I'll take her back to her house, because that's fucked up. She had to walk from over a mile from where I dropped her off to her house at night. So I get back in the car, I go and look for her, right? She has somehow, I don't know if she ran back to her house, but she got back to her house, I feel like, pretty soon. So I think when I got there, I had called her, and she was already home. Either way, I think that's what happened. So I came back to my house. I'm on the phone with her, right? Now, this is the shit that people don't. This is the shit that guys who don't do things like this won't understand. Because when I did it, I didn't understand. No, let me not say that. I understood why. Like, I know why. I think it's retarded. I think it's stupid. But I understand exactly why this happens. This girl told me that was the most exciting thing that's ever happened in her life, right? Probably a little bit exaggeration, but she said this was a very exciting thing. Her blood was rushing and shit like that, right? Now, how is that not disrespectful to me? Like, in my brain, I'm like, I left you a mile from your house, and I did not take you back home. How is that exciting to you, right? But in her mind, it was a danger. It was like, oh my God, he gonna really do this? He gonna leave me outside? Oh shit, I can't believe he's gonna do that, right? So, did I pick her up from the house? Nah, I don't remember if I picked her up. All I know is the main point of the story is when I told her that I came to pick her up, she said that was some bitch ass shit. That's what she told me. She said after leaving her on the street and then going back to get her, that was some bitch ass shit. But leaving her was exciting, right? So I'm saying, listen, you don't understand. I was gonna leave your ass outside. My dad convinced me that I was doing some wrong shit to go over there and get you. She was like, oh no, that's some bitch shit. I don't know why he did that. Now, listen to that story again. Think about it. I left her outside at 11:30 at night to walk home a mile from her house, and she was excited. I go to get her to keep her safe, and she's like, that's some bitch ass shit. Now, if you are a human being, you cannot, there's no way I believe that you can think that that is a safe thing to do. How does it make you a bitch for going to take her back home? But here's the thing. If you don't know the game, you're going to think that, oh, I don't understand why this is going on. If you know the game, then you understand why that had to be done, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, right, is because there's a benefit of being toxic in a relationship, right? There's a benefit to it because girls find it exciting. For whatever, listen, biologically, they just can't help themselves. When shit like that happens, they go, oh God, oh my God, my shoulders and my stomach and my titties, everything is just jiggling, right? That's how they feel. Their loins is on fire, everything, right? And like I said earlier, I think that shit is ridiculous. I think that shit is stupid, and a lot of guys also think it's stupid, but girls still want you to do it. Another thing, because I said, being for some strange reason, I don't listen, because this shit sits in my soul so much. Okay. Recently, Melissa was on on the gram, and a girl was talking about how she wanted her man to choke her, right, while they was having sex, right. Now, she's like, yeah, he was stroking me, but it wasn't good enough. So I told him this. She said go harder, or did she said go harder? She told him to stroke it harder. You know what he decided to do? He started choking her, right? Now, if my memory serves me correct, she was okay choking at first, yes?
Yeah, she told him that he wasn't choking her hard enough.
Oh, he wasn't choking her hard enough. Now, like I said, girls love this danger thing, right? It's just a part of life, is a part of reality. It's just how it goes. There's no I don't know how to get around it. It's just what it is, right? So she was like, choke me harder. You're not choking me hard enough, right? So he decided to go, okay, bitch, I got you. I'm gonna choke you harder. Start giving her the death grip. She started blacking out. You know what he does? 2 hands on her throat. Now he's choking her with 2 hands. She's like, okay, I'm seeing lights. She's seeing stars and shit like in fucking Looney Tunes when they got the birds around their head. That's what she's doing, right? She don't know what's going on. She's tapping his arm, like, which I still don't believe she was really doing. I feel like she was saying she was doing that, but she was, because he's still fucking her. Like, why she ain't scream, stop? Nothing. She's tapping his arm like this is fucking wrestling. So she's getting stroked down. He's choking her to death, and she's talking about some on her Instagram story that, oh, this is this. It was how dare he do this? How dare he? How fucking dare Nate? How I'm gonna watch when I tell you this shit. How dare he? He's so disrespectful. How could he do that? He didn't see me. That I was choking. So she went in the bathroom. Was she crying in the bathroom? Okay. So she went in the bathroom. Oh, he was crying. Was he crying? So she went in the see. This is what I be saying. This is what I be saying. So mind you, she was talking about how he was choking her to death. He was choking her to death. According to her, these are her words, right? So afterwards, he stopped. She goes in the bathroom, and she's all mad and huff, or she's saying she's all mad and huff. I can't believe he would do that. I almost died. What's wrong with him? He don't know any blah, 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 blah. What's the girl's nonsense, right? So he come in the bathroom. He's like, what happened? You good? What's going on? She's like, I can't believe you almost killed me. I almost died, right? He's like, yo, what you mean? You told me to go hard. She's like, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean to kill me. He's like, oh, I ain't know, my bad, right? Do you know that she said that this man started crying? And you know what she did? She shitted on him for crying about almost killing her because he felt bad. Is that true?
I don't think so.
What did she say?
I think she was consoling him when he was crying.
She was consoling him? I didn't get the energy. That's not what I got from her saying that he was crying. Why she would put that in there? Listen. So, as a guy looking in, I felt like she was trying to shit on him for crying. She was like, why is he even crying? Then I feel like she asked why he crying. I feel like she's like, why are you even crying for? What you crying for? Why are you crying? I think
Yeah, because she said, "Why are you crying? I'm the one that was about to die."
because I almost killed you. I feel bad. I'm a human being. You said I almost killed you. I'm like, yo, I'm empathetic. Like, yo, I almost killed. I didn't mean to do that. I'm apologizing. And you like, why am I crying? Because you almost died. That's why I'm crying, because you almost died. And here you are looking at me like a bitch because I'm crying because I almost killed you.
Well, you should have thought of that. How dare you?
So, and this is what we talking about with girls. This is what we talking about, right? And this is the problem that I have. Another thing that girls do. This is, and like I said, I understand all of this shit. I get it. I've been in the game long enough to know this is a part of the game. It's a part of life, right? Because another thing that girls do, which I don't know if they'll admit to this, because they do this shit, but they're gonna act like they don't, because you can't prove it, but so they're gonna act like they don't do it, right? Let me know if any guy out there has ever, because girls will pretend like this shit don't happen, but somehow all the guys be like, bro, that happens, and the girls be like, nah, no, it don't. Here, listen to this, right? So, guys will be like, yeah, I was fucking this girl, and she was saying no, but she meant yes, right? Now, girls be like, we don't do that. We don't say that. We don't pretend to not want the sex, but we actually want the sex. Because why would any person who wants to have sex with you be like, nah. Because now, if you go past that, that means what? What that mean? That mean you trying to fuck after she said no? After she gave you signals? Why? Right. So, Melissa, is this something that you are familiar with? With telling guys no and pushing them off even when you want the penis?
At some point, that probably happened.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I love this what you're supposed to do. Like I said, it was at some point. Like, probably. Yes, that has happened.
Can this come closer? Oh, you have a memory in mind that happened? Oh, please elaborate. Can you bring this light closer to me? Because I feel like we need those two big ass white boxes.
What makes you think that I have a memory?
Because I could tell by your face that you look like you remember some shit that you did.
And then, but it depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay. I'm listening.
Honestly, I think that only really happened with maybe like 3 people.
3 people. Okay. You care to elaborate on these 3 people that you tried to set up for a rape charge?
I did not.
Okay, what'd you call it?
It was because I didn't. It wasn't okay. I didn't tell them no.
Okay.
I didn't tell them no.
Okay.
Maybe I did.
Okay. Maybe she did tell him no. Okay. Maybe she did try to get them put in jail. Okay. Okay, I'm listening. How you try to set these young men up for a life in prison?
How did I do that?
But you want to tell them right now. We waiting for you to tell them how you almost put these men in prison.
But I did give my consent once my mind was changed.
So he had to persuade you after you told him no? Or did you tell him no as a lie? Which one is it?
What happened?
Because it sounds like...
No. Okay, because the first one was the second person I ever had sex with.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if that's really what I wanted to do. Is that true? I don't think I said no to that one. I think it was a third person.
Okay.
I think it was a third person.
Okay.
And honestly, I think the time that I said no, we didn't have sex.
Okay.
So I don't even think anything happened with that person. The second person, that done flew out the window from, so honestly, this probably only ever happened with one person, now that I really think about it.
Yeah.
And how it happened with that person, it's a wild ass story.
Oh, please, let me hear this. Because this is what people want to hear. Because this is what I'm talking about. This shit I'm talking about. I told you, girls don't want to talk about it. They be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they have a list of times they told men no.
No. This list been redacted down to one person.
Okay.
And they were asking me. And this sounds so crazy. Because it made a lot of sense while it was happening.
Yeah, sure. That's what it always does. It always makes sense when it's happening. Until you think about it, it's like, damn, that shit was wild.
He started using a Jamaican accent.
What? That's how you got it? See, that's some real Caribbean shit. I never shut that in my life. Okay, so he was saying no. No, you were saying no at first, and he said wagwan, and you was like, and you was like, oh yes. He was like,
but it was
big batigal, right? That's what he said, and you was like, oh yes. He was like, oh yes. He was like, oh yes. I am a big batigal. He said, yes, I am.
That was supposed to happen. He used the accent, and I was like, I might have been under some type of influence. But that is 100% how he got me. Yep.
But why'd you say no?
Because it was like. It was my first time hanging out with him.
Did you want to have sex? Obviously, you did.
I was attracted to him, yes.
That wasn't the question I asked you. The question
was I aroused? Yeah, sure.
Did you go there with the intentions of getting your back blown out? That's the question.
No. I went there with the intentions to meet this person.
At their house?
See how he is, huh?
At their house?
We went to the beach, but his house was near the beach. So it just kind of happened as to like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, my house is nearby.
Let's go over there and get to work.
That is not necessarily what happened.
Like I said, this is my thing about this. This is why did the water spill? Okay, nothing that work.
No. Oh, honestly, I didn't even know that I caught it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my shoulder.
My adrenaline. My
chest.
God.
The light just almost fell on the floor, and we all jumped. Me, Kitty, Melissa, everybody tried to catch it.
I caught it.
Oh,
that's
God.
lit. I didn't even know that I caught it. I didn't even know
my
that
shoulder
I had
out of place. Trying to catch that shit.
My pelvis is fucked up.
That's staying in the video. And Kitty said she can't even move. She let me stay right here underneath this thing. Jesus, my shoulder. I lost my shoulder trying to catch the light that fell. Oh my God. If I need to go back to the gym and work out and exercise because I tried to catch a light that almost fell. I didn't catch it. My shoulder's fucked up. Anyways, as I was saying before, somebody tried to kill me with the light. Like I said, this is why it's exciting for me to be in toxic relationships because it's fun. Toxic relationships are based off of emotion only. It is what feels good. That's it. There is no logic in toxic emotions. When it's manipulation, whether it be happiness or whatever the case might be, it's all based off of emotion. There is no logic. It doesn't make sense. It's just, how do I feel? That is why you hear things like, there was a book called Pimp by Iceberg Slim, I believe. And there's a part in the book where the guy says that he would beat a woman. Was it in the book or was he talking about an interview? I don't remember. Either way, he would say that he would beat a woman, right? Or he would beat one of his hoes. He was a pimp. And then he would, I think he would beat her with a hanger. And then he would like put her in a bath and like give her like a bath and wash her because it's all about feeling good. It's not about like, forget that I beat you. Don't forget about that. Just remember, like, you feel good now. And the reason that you got beat is because it's your fault. That's why you got beat. Not because of what I did. It's because something that you did. That's toxicity. That's what it is. It's all about making you feel good and them having power over you. That's what it's all about. Right. But girls love this shit. Girls love being in toxic relationships. They love being toxic to people. It's in their nature, and that I believe. Now, guys are also very toxic because this is something that I've learned recently is that how toxic guys are. And I don't understand. I mean, but then it's like maybe guys are toxic because that's what gets girls, huh? What you mean? It's yeah. I don't understand. It's y'all fault. It is y'all fault.
Being toxic afterwards.
You said what?
Y'all get the females and everything, and I start being toxic.
We were toxic when we got y'all. That's how we got y'all. Girls need to have higher standards. That's the problem. Stop dating toxic people. If a guy's toxic, tell him why he's toxic and stop talking to him. That's it. Girls be like, no, I want to fix him. I want to make him better. I want to make what? Listen, you're right. You're very right. She was saying that I be like, because I do be trying to fix people a lot, and I have been trying to work on that as I have been in my adult life. I have stepped away from that. But I feel like that's what be happening. I feel like, yeah, I really believe.
It's yeah. And at what point do you have no choice but to fix them? Because it's like, what else you gonna work with if they all like that?
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm like, but I be thinking that there's out there that be out there, but I don't know where they at.
Oh, find them. Give us a map. Tell us where they are.
I don't know where they at. I don't know how to
So
find
if
them.
you don't know, how we gonna know?
Cause y'all make the decisions. Y'all make them. I have to find them
We make them.
by telling them they're toxic. If I go to my man and say, "Yo, bro, you being mean to your girl, bro," and he's like, "Yeah, bro, but she wants to fuck every day." What I'm supposed to tell him?
Why does that constitute being mean to her?
No. I'm saying I'm telling him, bro, you're being toxic to your girl. What you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't be cheating on her. You shouldn't be treating her like that. You doing some wrong shit. He's like, yeah, bro, but she's coming right now to bring me lunch. She's suck my dick in the park, and we're gonna have sex when we get home. And she's gonna buy me a vacation. He's gonna stop doing that? Why? Toxic gets you stuff. Why would he not do that? Girl,
To be a good person, to be a good man.
if that got him pussy, he would do it, but it don't, so he doesn't. That's how that works. So like I said, I think that's a huge problem I have with girls being toxic, because not girls with toxicity. From let me not say that. It's not the problem. It is a problem that I have with it. But I'm just explaining that you have to understand that a certain level of toxicity is necessary in a relationship. I don't want to believe that. That's what I've seen so far is to be true. But until I have evidence that is not the case, that is what I am standing on right now. That you need to have. I am working on having a relationship with no toxicity in it. But until I am proven that that is a thing that can happen, I'm standing on the fact that you need to have a little bit, like an eensy teeny bit of toxic traits, because it keeps your relationship exciting. And girls love exciting relationships because it's like, oh my God, is he gonna cheat on me? I don't know. Oh my God, is he gonna beat me? I don't know. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? I don't know. That's how they feel.
So what is your level of toxicity in a relationship?
My level of toxicity is, but like, you mean like my toxic traits, or the things that I know help the relationship by being like?
Sure, the second one.
Okay. I know that. Let me see something toxic. That not trying to console you when you cry is better for you. See, she's smiling. She getting wet right now. See, now she got a big ass smile on her face.
Will you ignore me when I'm crying?
Sure. So whatever you want to call it. Like, it's. You would think, a person would think, oh, this person is crying. Let me go console them. Let me go help them out. You do that, you a bitch. They call you a bitch, bro. I'm telling you. As you heard earlier, the girl was like, you gonna help me after you had to kill me? What's wrong with you bitch ass? Like, that's what happens, right? You try to help them after you hurt them. Now you a bitch. That's how it works. So yeah, that's one example.
Can you name two more?
Let me see. Something else that would be, I think, not having sex. It's probably one too.
You did it on purpose?
No. But I understand what comes from it when I don't do it.
What comes from it?
You want to have sex. Like, I don't purposely go into, but a lot of guys should be like, my girl wants to have sex. We got to have sex right now because she said, let's have sex. But I know, that's like I said, it goes back to what people would think. You would think that if your girl wants to have sex, you have sex with her. That's what the brain goes to. Your girl's crying, you console her. right? This is what somehow our brains think this. But if I was to do that, then you would be. I don't think that. If I was to try and have sex as much as you lead me to believe that you want to have sex, I don't think you would like that. I think you'd be like, Donovan, I'm trying to get work done, and I'd be like, oh, Melissa, what do you mean? I want to have more sex. You said we should have more sex. We're having more sex. You disagree with that?
Huh?
You disagree with that?
I don't know. My body reacted to what you said. I didn't think it. Physical reaction.
This is her reaction. It was like a head turn and her body turned to the side. Like, yeah. So that's what I think. And like I said, and this is what when I say these things, it's just because you don't want. I don't even know. I don't understand this. I don't get it. It's just how life works right now. I don't understand. Being calm all the time. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to be calm all the time. You think it's fun. Maybe I'm toxic. That's why I like to not be calm all the time. I don't know.
I feel like we be calm all the time. All the time.
No, he be stressing me out all the time. Up here and down here and up here and down here and up here and down here.
That's your excitement?
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not, I don't want it, but it's there. Like it's like I don't know how things would be if things were always good. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that looks like.
I feel like things are good majority of the time.
When you're not annoying me? When do I annoy Melissa?
Getting annoyed by, like,
When do I? Because you be doing the same stuff all the time. When do I annoy you? That's what I want to know. I really want to know, when does Donovan annoy Melissa? Because the people listening want to know, what do I do that annoys Melissa?
That annoys me.
Yes.
When you be laughing.
Bruh. Mind you, this is what she listen, lately she been getting annoyed with me because I laugh in my sleep. She be like, who you in your sleep thinking about? Like on a serious note, like it's not like, oh, she really be like, when she asks me, she be joking. But when she hear me laughing and I'm sleeping, I know she be like, what the fuck he sleeping? What he fuck you dreaming about? The fuck is that? So when I wake up, she was like, what you was thinking, what you was dreaming about? I'm like, I don't know. Well, you was laughing and you was mumbling something. I'm like, it was a dream. Maybe I was laughing. Well, what was it about? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what the fuck it was about. But she really be.
You be mad happy in your dreams.
Can't be happy.
In the day, he be like stoic. He don't be having no emotion on his face unless he on Instagram or something while he's watching the video. It's like he be really laughing, like hearty laugh, like a genuine laugh that comes from his soul, and I don't understand.
Again, this is.
I mean, it's not like I don't want you to laugh.
No, you want me to laugh when it's with you.
Yes.
That's it.
I do.
That's it. You're not that funny. You gotta be funnier. That's the problem. You gotta learn how to be funny.
I be making you laugh sometimes though. It be happening.
I mean, I guess or whatever, maybe. So.
That's one thing that annoys me.
That I laugh when I'm sleeping without her.
When you point out what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. When I point out what you're doing wrong. Yeah.
Is it necessary? I think it's necessary. Do I like it? No. It's annoying, but it is what it is.
Okay. I feel like it's bad. Anyway, about it. It's like that.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that one too is because sometimes, I mean, when you point it out, it's typically when I'm oblivious to it. That's the whole point of pointing it out. But when it's kind of like walking down the street and someone's like, why you did your hair like that? And it's like, damn, I didn't even look at you. What do you mean? What? It be feeling like that in my soul.
Oh, like that? I guess. I mean, like I said, I guess I would consider that one because I feel like there could be things as to why I do that could be problematic. I just don't know why I do that, because I can spin it so that it sounds positive, but I don't know if that's me spinning it or if it's actually a positive thing.
It's not that spinning it that it sounds positive. It's just that sometimes I wonder if the thing that's upsetting you is something that's been happening over time, and then and you're telling me then, and then that's why it comes off the way that it does, or if maybe you're upset or something, like maybe you're just not in a good mood overall, and then I did this thing while you're already not in a good mood, so it kind of, you'll just say what's on your mind then. So I don't know when's the difference between the two, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are my things that Melissa says annoys her. Do you have any more that you would like to bring to the front of the class?
When when you don't answer me.
Oh. Well. Yeah.
Just what's up?
Yeah. I mean, you know, she be saying stuff that don't need to be answered, so I feel like like she be trying to. This is what I be saying. Let's be like, this is why we saying to DM me, because I can tell y'all about all these things that girls do. I have a whole sheet in my head. I know exactly how it's the same game plan all the time, right? She'll come up to me, right? She'll do some foul shit that she shouldn't have done. I'll be like, Melissa, why you do that, right? And then she'll come up to me and be like, Donivan, right? And then when I don't respond to her, she'll go and pout or something, right? And then she'll be looking at me when I'm doing something else, and I feel looking at me. I know she's looking at me. I'm not gonna look at her because she's gonna look at me and be like, so I'm just gonna ignore her because I know what she's doing. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what we're talking about. And it's like, it's the same game. They all do the same thing. They do. There's a class that they take that I don't know exists. It must have been in the 3rd grade that they went to, and we wasn't allowed to. You know what it was? I know what it was. You know when girls start getting a period and they'd always say, oh, I'm going to the bathroom to fix something, but they didn't tell you what it was. Well, you know it was a period. That's what it was. It's a class in the bathroom about how to annoy men that they would take. We didn't know it. We weren't allowed to go in there. They would go in the bathroom and they would be like, it would be a fucking list on the wall, on the stall probably, and be like, all right, rule number 1, here's what you got to do. Fake cry all the time. And if you fake cry, it doesn't matter if you're wrong, right? If it's him, not him, you cheated, You cheated and you got pregnant by somebody else. Fake cry because it's his fault. Just cry that shit out. You told him to choke you during sex and you liked it, but he now you like it too much. Cry because you like him too much. Cry about that shit. Just cry about everything. If it's a guy involved with it, cry. It don't matter what it is. He could be nice to you, mean to you, love you, not love you, stranger. Just cry. It don't matter. Just cry. It's rule number 1 for girls. Just cry. And then all the other rules are whatever. So. Yeah, another thing too I want to talk about, because this is one thing that also annoys me too, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. Okay, fake boundaries. This is what Melissa and I were talking about this yesterday, right? About what makes a person a thought or a little hoe, a little slutty thotty pop, right? So pretty much, I think this was the next week's episode. Oh, I'm gonna say it now, anyways. So I believe that a hoe is a girl who's insecure and has sex out of her insecurities. That's what I think, right? Now, I'm going to explain what that means. What time are we at right now?
So we are at an hour and either 30 or 40 minutes.
Can you check? Because I feel like...
I got 45 in my book and I got 45 here. And I said I
Okay. Ooh, okay, I'm about to end it then. That's cool. Right, so I'm going to do... Should I do the boundaries thing or should I do the... Yeah, I'm going to say this sentence. I want to get the sentence out there. Okay. Can you go back up to that other one? He's on. Where is he going? Like I said, I think that this whole, I guess playing hard to get, I don't know. It's a myth. Do girls really want to do that? Do y'all like playing hard to get? I feel like you ran down on me when I was at Starbucks, so I don't know if that counts for you.
I don't know if you can ask me because I kind of threw that stuff out my head.
Yeah, because this is my thing about girls playing hard to get, right? I don't know. Do y'all do that because people tell y'all to do that? That's what I think. I really believe this might be a myth I just figured out right now. Playing hard to get. Who told y'all to do that? Who does that benefit? It don't benefit the guy or the girl. And until it's normalized to not play hard to get, women will continue to be in toxic relationships because y'all are talking to a guy, y'all are doing shit like, oh, I'm gonna wait to not talk to him. I'm gonna try and play like I don't like him. Act like just if you like the dude, then it's a higher chance of a girl going to a guy that she likes and being like, yo, you cute. I think you're cute. And him being like, that's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say. All you gotta say. That could be the best game as a girl you need right there. Is go to a guy you think is cute and be like, I think you're cute, right? And go from there. Now, if he pursue you, then it is what it is. Now, you could give me a number, which is fine. I think for the most part, he will talk to you. I think that the attractive men, you might have a little bit more of a problem with that. And if you need help bagging an attractive guy as a girl, I can help you with that. I know the game or I know how people work. If you want to bag a guy as an attractive girl, I give you the game. It works the same way. It's all about power dynamics. You got to understand power dynamics, and then you can have the woman or the guy of your dreams, right? And the last thing I want to touch on is the putting up fake boundaries thing, right? I'm gonna make this probably short, maybe 2-3 minutes. my issue with fake boundaries, and a fake boundary is something that you put up so that a guy doesn't get pussy from you easily, right? That's a fake boundary. There should not be any boundaries on what you give pussy up for. It shouldn't be a boundary. What it should be is, I like you. I like people that do this thing. So if I like you and I also like people do these things, we may possibly have sex. That's what it should be. But girls like doing shit like this. This is what girls love to do. Girls love saying things like, I'm not going to call him for 3 days. And if he called me, then I know he really want me and I'm going to fuck him. And you be like, that's it? That's all you got to do? You listen, you show a girl a little bit of attention, you run again. And this is the real problem with having boundaries, because boundaries are just a maze. It's a game. Once a guy figures out how to beat the maze and win the game, he's going to fuck you. Every guy that knows the game is going to fuck you. It's going to be easy. But you know what's hard? It's hard for a guy who doesn't know about fishing to learn about fishing. He's like, fuck, she likes, I don't know about fishing. Bro, you have to go out and actually learn fishing now if you like her. But a girl who has, I don't even know what girls be passionate about nowadays, smoking hookah and shit. I don't even know what y'all fucking like. I don't know what girls be into. Either way, but the problem is, if you have these fake boundaries and they're not actually tied to something concrete that you're actually passionate about, the guys you attract are not going to really want to fuck with you, because they have to put in fake work. All they got to do is pretend to like you. All they got to do is pass a couple of tests, seem like they're alpha male, be attractive and charming, and they fuck you. That's it. But actually find a dude that likes what you like. Find a dude that likes makeup, that knows about makeup. Find a dude that knows about natural hair. What do girls like, Melissa? What do females that you know like? Real estate. If you into real estate, find a guy that likes real estate. But what else? What else do you know girls like? Law. That's what I'm saying. If you find, now, let me get this straight. Let me just say this too. If you are a lawyer, or you're trying to be a lawyer, right, and you find a guy who's into law, that is kind of a cheat, because y'all in the same place. But I think, you think it's a plus or a minus? You think that if you're playing basketball with another guy that plays basketball, I mean, what's something that you like to do? Like, that you feel like music, right? Yeah, because I was gonna say, I feel like that would be a easy way for him to get pussy, because y'all are in the same space. But it might also be a positive because y'all both like music.
Yeah.
I'm going with a negative. What do you think?
You go with the negative? Why?
Positive. You going with positive?
I think that it can go either way. I can see why it would be a positive, and I can see why it would be a negative.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, it can be a positive because that way you guys kind of have an understanding of what you like. You can probably go to concerts together, stuff like that. But I feel like it doesn't bring a new element into the relationship, because y'all pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Or interested in the same thing, and somebody has to be kind of the superior one to the other in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think for if a guy, let's say a guy is into music, let's say y'all both go to music singing lessons, right? And he sings there and you sing there. I think that this camera's mad dark. That's what I think. I think that if y'all both are in the music class together, that is. Nothing. I don't know. My brain is thinking of like, oh, a guy might be a hoe and try to fuck all the girls in the class, but I feel like, does that really happen? Like, I think it depends on what thing we're talking about. Like, I think it depends on what area we're talking about. So I'm thinking, like, if it was a basketball player and he's working out with other guys. I'm like, okay, would a guy take the opportunity to fuck all of the girls in that place because they all look the same thing as him? So is it better to have a second thing that you can actually base it off of? Like, okay, we both like music.
A guy, as in you are entering the space looking for somebody to talk to.
No. Like, okay, I'm thinking about, like, if we go to singing, right? I'm thinking of a group of people are in a class practicing singing, and you would think, oh, we're both in singing class, we would be better together because we're both in singing classes. Yeah, we'd be more compatible. But I'm wondering if a guy would use that to fuck. I think I'm gonna go with positive. I'm gonna go with the positive. I think it's better to find a guy that does things that you do, whether you met him there or you find out that you guys actually have a passion. Smoking does not count. Drinking does not count. And if you want to count, going to clubs does not count either. What else can we go with? No. Listening to music does also not count. Listening to music does not count. You have to be doing something, going out, getting out of the house, doing something, whether it be, like, it has to be a niche where it's like, if you listen to music, but listen to it how? It has to be like, oh, we know, like, I know music. Like, if I watch anime, it has to be like, we like anime this. We like to watch anime. Like, I know this guy, I know that guy. It has to be something I'm into. It has to be like something I'm really into. I think that's how you kind of weed out the guys that's going to just fuck you and cheat on you and shit like that.
Making an interest that you both kind of like works too. Because I don't think me and you like the same things at all.
You like anime.
You watch different anime than I watch. They might overlap.
And
the thing that really got us, I feel like, together was because you don't like the same music that I do. You don't watch the same shows that I do. Yeah, because you don't like the same music that I do. We do not like the same shows, the same types of shows. Mm-hmm. We can watch a show together, mm-hmm. but fundamentally, I don't think we watch the same stuff. We don't read the same type of books. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think the thing that really drew us together was the fact that we liked escape rooms. We did like 5 of them or something like that. And then, yeah, Italy, I'm counting that as an escape room. So, okay. And I think maybe the mindset, because it doesn't have to be the same exact interest. It could be just kind of like how you attack the interest or how you think about those things. I think maybe that's more important.
I don't know. I don't know if that's more important, the mindset. Or I feel like even if somebody is analytical, I think to where you put that analytical prowess is important. Because it's like, what if I'm analytical about making bottles and you're analytical about making laptops? It's like they still need to be in the same. I think they just need to be in the same space. Like they need to be in the same wheelhouse. Because I don't believe that opposites attracting. I feel like that's a lie. I don't think that. I think that there's another one of those myths they put out there that also like women should play hard to get.
No, what do you feel like we do that's the same?
I don't know.
I feel like we made interests that we're interested in. Like you know about food and like why we eat certain things and all that stuff. We've made some of the recipes.
I have to think. Because I definitely remember. I mean, it's something that I realized too. That
it's Kate. I don't know what she's going to do about her.
I think I said this before too in the podcast. I don't remember why I started liking you. I don't remember.
I remember you like talking to me.
Yeah.
I think you said I had good communication skills.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I don't, but
yeah.
I guess better than average.
But it's just because I think that I don't know.
Honestly, this is why ladies just gotta go for what you want, because I was the one that approached Donivan in the Starbucks. I was the one that gave him my number and walked up to him that first time. He did not hit me up. So ladies, if you like the guy, if you think he's attractive, because I thought Donivan was attractive, I thought he looked nice and everything like that, and he didn't text me. He didn't call me, he didn't hit me up, nothing. So I had to text him and be like, hey, this is so-and-so from Starbucks. Do you have like a Snapchat or something? And that's when he called.
I text you my name.
Huh?
I text you my name.
When he left the Starbucks. Like, I thought that was just kind of like okay, I have the number. There was no conversation.
What if I didn't text you at all?
Huh?
What if I didn't text you? I feel like that is like, I could have just thrown the number in the garbage.
You could have.
But I text you to let you know, like, oh, got you locked in my phone. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, this is what I was gonna get to. Is what I was gonna say about that. Is I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember why I liked you before, and I think any reason that I like you now come from recent stuff. Because I don't remember if you asked me before, like what the reasons were. I remember saying that I felt like you were perfect for me, but I don't remember why.
Because I watched anime and because I was good at talking. I was good at my communication skills. What else? It was something else. We had fun together. Like I remember you had one with I was gonna say her name. Because Donivan was talking to a girl while he
I do remember that.
and he had the date. Listen, we gonna talk about this in the future.
Damn, is it outros here already? That's crazy.
But he had took some other girl out to do the same things that we did, like work, like play by play, the exact same things. He did them with me, and he had an amazing time, like the best time of his life. And that did not happen with the last girl, and that's another reason why he liked me.
So that wraps it up for episode 29. 29? Yeah. I will listen to this episode again, and we will have more about these topics on episode playback of episode 30. My DM is open for consultations. You hit me on there. We can schedule a time slot for you to have a conversation. We are welcoming guests now on the podcast. So if you are in the tri-state area, we are shooting between 10 and 12 on Tuesdays. You have to be in the studio for us to shoot. And if you haven't already, go check out our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray. And my girlfriend's is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. Also, we have multiple food projects. No, that's not true. We have multiple bamboo projects. One of them is the food project. We have a clothing project. We have a music project. We also have a fitness project, a sports project, and the Bamboo Project podcast. So tune in next week to hear about the update of what the fuck is going on in our life. Bamboo Project out.